newtutorial.com. I wanted to come in and do a quick video for you. I wanted to show you this right here, what we've got. This is a muscadine grapevine that I've trellised up. And if you can see this, there's just a bunch of vines coming up, and I've kind of, just in kind of a non-organized fashion, trellised these up, these grapevines. And I want to show you here, it comes out, see this vine, there's a vine right here. It comes down and goes underneath this broken log here, and it comes up here. There's the vine, there's the vine. And it's all really one vine that came in. And what happened here was we came out here, when we first got out here, I think in August, and we were walking the land, and we found this giant clusters of grapes from this muscadine grapevine. And we harvested what we could about September or October, I guess, and brought them in. Maybe it was September. And they were delicious. And I was like, man, I need to go back through here and trim these up, prune it, and kind of clear this area. Now I'm going to step back here for a second so you can see. But this whole area was just a huge mess of brush and briars and tanglefoot and thorns and thistles and just all kinds of mess here. And I cleared out a whole bunch of it, and to get to this vine, because we could only harvest some of it. I mean, we harvested a lot. And here's a quick picture that you can see what we did harvest. But it was not even near what we could have harvested if we could have gotten to everything. And so I wanted to come through here, and this fall, and it's almost springtime now. It's getting close to spring. Things are starting to bloom, and I wanted to just prune this back before it got too on in the spring. And so that's what we did. We pruned it all, trellised it up as much as we could to some sort of organized fashion, and got it to where it can go along these lines of this trellis, this makeshift trellis with these T-posts. And right now, I'm hoping, I mean, you can see some buds on here. Like, here's a bud right there, if you can see that bud. It's not going to focus probably, but there's the bud, and there's buds on all these. And so I've pruned these back pretty well to where I can get some of the buds. And I've kind of trained it and wired it in certain places so I can get it to go along this trellis. But it looks like it's going to take off. I don't know for sure. But there was another vine. If you see this vine, it goes down through here. And back in there's a tree, remnants of an old tree, and there is just this huge, gigantic grapevine going up this tree. And it goes up into the tree, and then it comes down, and then goes underneath this log, and then it comes to here, and then it goes out this way. And so the vines that were coming off here is what I saved. And the vine back here, it must be over 100 years old. I've done some, just research on muscadine grapevines and the size of them, how big they get, and the size that this is back there is just this huge vine going into the ground, or coming up out of the ground. Has to tell me it's got to be at least over 100 years old for this vine. And there's evidence around here that somebody was maybe in the area a long time ago. There's old tree stumps with moss on them. Right there's a tree stump. And then there's some tree stumps over here and here and here. So it looks like this had been cleared a long time ago at some point. And these are cedars, so cedars stay forever. I don't know if they're 100 years old or not, but this trail goes up towards the old home site is on the property. It was a stone house that was built in the 1850s and was lived in over the last, maybe destroyed 100 years ago, or maybe 70 or 80 years ago. And so there's this trail coming down here, and I'm thinking maybe somebody harvested from that vine, as old as it is, a long time ago, and it just hasn't been kept up. And so this vine here, what I did, it went up, see this vine right here, it goes all the way up into these trees, and there were so many grapes that we couldn't get to when we came through here in August and September. There were so many grapes that we couldn't even get to. They were hanging from the trees, and I mean, it was just a mess. And so we harvested just a mere fraction of what we could harvest. And so what I did, based on some of the research I found, was I cut this vine. I cut it here from there. And so all of the energy that was going into this major, huge vine, this is one of the smaller sets that come off the big one, is now going to be going into my vines that I've trellised up over there. And so this vine, you can see, I mean, it's kind of bleeding right there. And over here, you can kind of see it bleeding right there. And so I'm hoping that it's not going to be destroyed or get caught up with some disease or something, and that it's going to survive. So this is the live section, and this is now the dead section that went up into that tree that produced all those grapes that we couldn't get to. And so what I'm hoping is going to happen, based on what I've researched, is that this vine will survive, hoping that I didn't cut it too late in the season, and that all of the energy of the major vine that's back behind this tree right there is going to come up now and be produced and pushed into these vines and produce lots more grapes for us. The grapes were delicious. It produced huge amounts of clusters, and the grapes, I think, were probably about half the size they would be if it was a well manicured grapevine, muscadine grapevine. So I'm assuming that all of that energy now being poured into this, the grapes will be a full-size grape, and you know, be just as delicious as they were last year. And so we are hoping. This is one vine that we have trellised up and manicured and pruned. There's another vine that we found that also produced grapes that I ate last year, and I cleared out a bunch of brush to get to those, and hopefully those too. I'll show you those maybe in another video, where I've trellised those up. And so I think we're well on our way, hopefully, to having our own vineyard, so to speak. And I'll be harvesting grapes from this, and our goal is to make our own wine. Our goal is to make our own grape jelly. The ones we harvested last year, we turned into grape jam, and it was just delicious. And so we're going to do it again this year and make a number of things. And there's another Hebrew that we know who's very well versed in winemaking, who's going to be who lives not too far from us now, and he's going to be showing us how to do that. And so I'm excited. So anyway, this all right here has been trellised up, and we're going to see what it does. I'll keep you posted throughout the season and let you know how it's working out. If it dies and I've cut this too late in the season and it just withers back, well then, you know, no big loss. We have plans to grow grapes anyway, but we figure, hey, you know, maybe it'll work, and we'll have grapes again this season from this vine. But we're hoping, like last year, we'll harvest a good bounty, and now with all of the energy being pushed into this, we'll get a good sized harvest. So,
everybody, Zach again at newtutorial.com. Wanted to come in and do a quick update on this. Yeah, it's growing. It's growing, and I came back to check on this vine, and I was looking at some of the other vines we trellised up on the property, and they're growing too. And sure enough, it's sprouting and producing buds everywhere, and the buds are going real well, and it's got even just tiny grape clusters. Like there's going to be a tiny grape cluster there, and so it's producing, and so we're excited that this is actually going to probably produce well for us, and we're going to get some grapes out of this again this year. And so all of them are basically the buds are popping and they're growing, and it seems like it's working. So I think we're going to get some grapes out of this, and the ones that are up on other parts of the property that we've trellised up are going well too. So this is just a quick update. We went ahead and trellised this up. You can see the wire right there. Everything's kind of connected to with these T-posts, and it's all trellised up and it's producing. And there are tiny grape clusters that are just now coming in. What those are going to be. So we're looking like we're going to have some grapes out of this vine and some of the other vines, and we'll keep you posted. We'll do just a whole grape video on all of the grapevines that we have here. But yeah, we're looking forward to this. We're going to get a lot of grapes, so it's working. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.